YouTube, hope you're all having a great day. Today I am filming from some vineyards in the south of France, and for my first video I wanted to talk about childhood trauma and more specifically emotional flashbacks. So just a side note, my video or my story will be from the spiritual aspect. So if you're interested into more psychology or science-based, there's plenty of videos on YouTube that talk about that, but I'll be focusing pretty much on the spiritual side of things. So I'll be talking about energies, souls, and the universe. I first wanted to just share a bit about me, because this is my first video, to give a bit of a backstory. So I pretty much didn't think I had childhood trauma until I was maybe 13 or 14. That's when I noticed that there was something different from the people around me. And then eventually when I was 17, which was when I was like in 11th grade and 12th grade, I pretty much hit rock bottom. I started skipping classes. I didn't go to school that much. I stopped talking to my family and everybody around me. The usual depressed teenager style. And then what happened was that I hit rock bottom, and as I didn't want to live my whole life being a couch potato, I decided that I would do something about it. And that's when I started reading about childhood trauma and complex PTSD. So I got into this whole field of psychology and what are emotional flashbacks and what is actually complex PTSD and what happens and all of these different, then you have the flight and fight responses. I also bought this complex PTSD book from Pete Walker, which many who are in the complex PTSD space talk about. A very good book, by the way. And so I did all of that, and then I also watched others on YouTube. What did they recommend to do with your emotional flashbacks? And I did that, and it worked very well. It helped me pretty much start doing something. It helped me no longer be, completely dissociated from my life. And then I enrolled into university. And then in my pretty much second year of university, I hit rock bottom again. Now you might be wondering, is this again about childhood trauma? It is. So in my second year of university, I realized that, I had implemented the changes that the psychologists and very reputable experts tell you to do with childhood trauma and complex PTSD, but I was in second year of psychology and I felt like shit. I wasn't doing what I love. So again, I hit rock bottom. I took a year off, and during that year, as I'm not somebody who wants to live my life as a couch potato, I decided, what am I going to do about this? And then I started exploring energies. Yes, the spiritual side, the thing that school does not even mention. And I got drawn to that, and I started delving into all these books, and I started actually doing it myself. So I tapped into also energy healing. And and that was pretty much how my whole year went. And after that year, I finished grudgingly with a bit of, let's say, some tears in my eyes. My last year in bachelor's in psychology. And then I decided, you know what? University psychology is not for me. Energy actually is. So why am I telling you this? Well, first of all, it is so that we can have a bit of an introduction. Second of all, I wanted to show you the limits to the traditional approaches to trauma and childhood. Well, to be honest, to life itself, but in this video we're talking about childhood trauma because I implemented the strategies that were advised from a psychological perspective, but it did not go as deep down to the actual, let's say, pain point that I had, which was not doing what my soul or what my life's purpose actually is. Now, I know that the word or the term life's purpose is very much used. I wouldn't say abused, but it's used in many different areas of science. Each science tries to create their own definition of life's purpose. I'm not here to do that. I'm here to actually show you how you can find your own, your soul's purpose. And to do that, I just wanted to take a little bit of a, let's say, rewind to emotional flashbacks. Now, I think you all are aware of what emotional flashbacks are. If you're actually interested in this video, you probably deal with them, constantly, or you have in your life. Just for the viewer who doesn't know, emotional flashbacks, in the traditional sense, are pretty much, let's say, periods of intense emotions, where you feel, let's say, childhood grief, shame, fear, anger, and it just gets triggered by something in your daily life, so during your adulthood, and then you just get thrown back into some kind of, let's say, emotional experience you had in childhood, and it takes at least maybe hours to get out of that very dissociated state. Now, that is a traditional approach. My approach is different. My approach is that the emotional flashbacks that I had when I was, let's say, a teenager, and in my 18 years old and 19, and even before that, but you get the point. Those were signals from my souls that I'm not doing what I'm meant to do. And I'm pretty much doing what everybody tells me to do. I'm not listening to my intuition. I'm pretty much deluding myself that I'm doing something purposeful. At the time, it is true, I was doing university. So I kind of thought that, okay, I will do something with this. I'll maybe be a psychologist. That's kind of what everybody told me to do. Follow the rules, follow what you're taught, and be a good soldier, as they say. Well, I'll be honest with you that when I had my emotional flashbacks, if I even go back to when I was little, which was 13, 14 years old, and I kind of was in that same thinking mindset. I felt that I was unhappy. I felt that school was something that I didn't want to do. But you grow up with your parents saying that you must get good grades, that school is very important, and, afterwards, well, what are you going to do? You're going to have to go to university. My point being is that every time I've had emotional flashbacks in my life, it directly correlates with me going completely off path, completely ignoring my soul's purpose. So the point being is that whatever you might tell yourself, that you are actually doing everything in your capabilities right now with your childhood trauma, or even if you're telling yourself that you don't have any, I just want to point out that if you do feel yourself, you have these moments of dissociation, these emotional flashbacks, those are signals. And those are signals that you're not doing what you're meant to do. So, What do you do now? Now that you know that you're not following your soul's purpose. What does that mean? Well, without going into too long and not making this as a, I don't know, like a spiritual course or something like that, which that's not the point of this video. Share you some, let's say, exercises or things that you can do right now and actually start getting those answers on what your soul's purpose is. Just a side note, I do have experience in energies, so for me this is very much comfortable, easy, and if you're not that, let's say, up into your energetic abilities, whatever you want to call it, it might be a bit difficult, it might be overwhelming, it might be silly. You might say, this is not possible. In any case, these exercises, or at least trying, will be that first step to opening up your mind to what is around you. Now, soul's purpose. How I view emotional flashbacks, as I mentioned before, is that they are signals from your souls that you're off the path. They're like, let's say, red flags. Pretty much. You have these emotional flashbacks, you feel like you're back in your childhood, trauma, you're angry, you don't understand why, I'm doing everything correctly, and here you have a red flag. And your souls are saying, you are telling yourself that you are doing this correctly, but actually you are not. How do you break this barrier? How do you actually start dealing with these red flags that you keep on getting? Well, number one is to actually see them as red flags. Guidance from your souls. Don't see it as just automatic stress response that you can't control, that has no underlying meaning. See it for what it is. It is your souls communicating with you. And what do you do when somebody is trying to communicate with you? Do you ignore their messages? No, because they just get louder, especially if that's their purpose. Your soul's purpose is to communicate with you and manifest you into the physical reality. So, you gotta listen to them. You gotta open your mind up to the messages that you're receiving. How do you do that? Well, number one, don't be afraid of your childhood trauma. You can feel that. I just want to say it out loud so that you understand that eventually you will have to no longer be afraid of your childhood trauma. Number two, same thing for emotional flashbacks. You can't be afraid of them. I know it's a tough pill to swallow, but you can't just allow yourself to always run away when that overwhelming emotion comes. I think the first thing that you can tell yourself if you have an emotional flashback is, okay, there is something deeper here that I'm not listening to, and maybe I should. Number three is do not dissociate yourself. You should stop dissociating in your current life everywhere else so that you can actually start to not run away every time you have an emotional flashback. What do I mean by stop dissociating yourself in all the other areas of your life? Pretty much stop using tools such as media, let's say maybe alcohol, other stuff, to forget about your thoughts, your actual present life. Continue watching entertainment, but I don't know, just watch maybe educational videos. Instead of drinking alcohol to fall asleep and relax, do some high intensity exercises. Get your heart up and that will kind of tire you out, and you'll be much more willing to go to sleep in the evening. Just do something else that's a bit less dissociating. Read a book. Point number 4 is communicate with your souls, which that is the juicy stuff. That is where we're actually making a change. Now, if you've never actually even communicated with energies, if you've never done any kind of divination, what I would recommend is take 15 minutes each day and just sit with your thoughts. Now, yes, this can be called meditation, whatever you want to call it. I'm just saying sit with your thoughts. Most important thing is that there's silence and that you can hear your actual own thoughts. And now I want you to ask a question. And you must believe this question and the state that it pretty much asks yourself to be in. So the question is, if I had abundance, if money and time were unlimited, what would I be doing right now? So if I had abundance and I had unlimited money and time, what would I be doing right now? And when you ask that question, I want you to be open to any kind of thought. This is not a school test. We're not asking your rational, logical brain. Your rational, logical brain is working perfectly fine. That's why you're in this situation. Okay? That's why you're not following your soul's purpose, because your rational and logical brain, that's the only thing that's, up and running. Your spiritual aspect, your energy, your energetic body is not being channeled. It's not being communicated with. I just had to change the scenery because there were some motorcycle races over there and you wouldn't hear me. So what you can do after you have, thought of the question, you can write it down, you can say it out loud, whatever it has to do. But pretty much 15 minutes each day with that kind of intention is going to open up something. Now, I want to re-emphasize, you really, really have to believe that state of abundance. So, you can tell yourself just, hey, for the sake of doing an exercise, I'm just going to entertain the thought that I have abundance and, time and money, plenty and whatnot. Now, to get more information, this will require you to open up a bit with the world around you and how you view it. So you're going to have to kind of put aside some beliefs and doctrines you have told yourself are true. Number 1, you're not completely constricted into this physical body. There is more of you than you can actually perceive with your eyes. So that's one thing that you're going to have to accept. Number 2, that the universe is actually a living entity. Okay? We're not living in a static, random universe. Nothing is random. Everything technically is a synchronicity. It is meant to happen. And with that mindset, you will also have to eventually, with time, accept that you're not this, godlike creature who says, this is how things are going to go. This is how I've planned it out. I choose everything. Everything happens in my terms. That doesn't exist. The universe dictates. And the universe is something that is around us, but we're not in control of it. So you're going to have to let that go as well. These 3 points are part of every soul's message. You are not God. There are beings, there are entities that know more than you. And you have to accept that. If you say in your ego that you know everything and that everything is evident, you're not going to get far. You will get blockages. You won't be able to get those messages. So I hope this video helped you out in some way, shape, or form. I hope that you resonated with my message. That's pretty much the point of this video, is to help you discover your soul's life purpose, to take those first steps. And if you ever need some help with your journey, feel free to reach out to me. I hope you all have a great day, and I guess I'll see you in the next video. Bye!